right now in a high time of inflation, right now when it comes to people possibly losing some jobs and you're kind of concerned, here is a great time to pause paying off debt. I tell people this all the time. It's like, hey, I actually just told my team this. I was like, hey, right now, because times are a little, like, we don't know. What we don't want to do is allow fear to operate our future, but we do want to make sure that we're facing reality and that there are certain things happening in the economy and in the world today, and we need to make sure that we're properly prepared. So what I'm telling you is, if you was going gun hard on paying off your debt, I'm happy for you. That's great. But I would say maybe slow down a little bit and maybe just build up your savings account so you can have a little cushion. Once you get that savings account built up to at least for, let's say, for at least $2,000-$3,000, so that way you can at least cover your mortgage, your rent payment, and your mandatory bills for 1 month if you were to get let go of your job, or if something was to happen and you had to go off of your job. At least you have 30 days to come up with a game plan, and you're not stressed for you need money within the next week. So I'm saying slow down a little bit, put a little bit extra inside your savings account. Once you get to at least a good $3,000-$4,000 a month, then get back to going aggressive to attacking your debt if you are on the journey of paying off your debt. Why is it so important to save money? Study came out recently on Yahoo Finances that nearly 50% of the people who make $100,000 or more are living paycheck to paycheck. That people who make $100,000 a year can't even afford an $1,000 emergency. These are people who are making on average about $8,333 a month, and they can't afford a $1,000 emergency. Now, let me be very sensitive and very, very understanding, that I understand that sometimes life does hit. I understand that sometimes things come into place that had nothing to do with our control. Nothing to do with our control, and sometimes that does happen. And I want to be honest and say, you know what? I understand that. But here is my problem that I do have. That if you're making $100,000 in your home right now, and you don't have at least $500 in your savings account, respectfully saying this, you can't blame that on the system. You can't blame that on life happening, because I'm pretty sure I can look at someone's budget and say, you know what? You can cut that out. The problem is, are we willing to look into the mirror and say, hey, we need to do this and get rid of that for a season? What is the difference between someone who is financially well off and someone who has the capabilities of being financially well off, but they're not? This person who is financially well off was willing to sacrifice things for 12 months to change the next 12 years of their life. This person who has the means to do it, they're not willing to do certain things to change it. They don't want to sacrifice 12 months. They don't want to live in a different place that may be uncomfortable for 12 months to get the things they want to do. I drove a 2011 Acura TL with 200-something plus thousand miles on it because I knew the kind of life I wanted in the next 3 years. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Nashville, Tennessee, actually in Brentwood, Tennessee. When I had the money, I'm making well over 6 figures. But I was like, no, I know what I want in the future. I know what I want to build. Let me live like this. When I was living in Jacksonville, Florida, I was living in the hood. I wasn't living somewhere real nice, Bay Meadows. I wasn't living on the south side. I was living on the north side. When you pulled on my street, it smelled like crap. As soon as you get off the highway, you see dope boys, you know why? It was because I knew the life that I wanted to live, and I knew that I wanted to have a certain amount of money in my savings account. I knew that I wanted to have freedom, and I knew that if I am temporarily willing to sacrifice certain things, in the future, I can have every daggone thing that I want. And here's the thing, single people, watch me. Single men, watch me. And I'm gonna give you the last 2 bank accounts. But hear me right now. Single men, who gives a crap about the kind of car you drive and the kind of house you're living in right now? Because like, here's what I want to say. Don't wait till you get your family to where now you gotta make those sacrifices. Make the sacrifices when it's just you. So that way you're in a position to when you do get your wife, when you do get your spouse, you don't have to worry about making sacrifices and baby, we got to do this. Baby, we got to do that. Nah. When your baby come, when your wife come, when your loved one come, when your children come, you ain't got to take them through a lot of sacrifices. I'm able to do the things I'm able to do now because I was willing to sacrifice. I was willing to do certain things. I moved into the hood. CJ would tell you, I was living in the hood. I bought a house in the hood. The first day I moved into the house, older lady came over there and asked me to take it to the corner and go get her some weed. Older lady, she gotta be 50 years old, knocking on my door, and face and mouth on the door. And I'm coming to them like, ma'am, hello? I'm talking about, I got my protection trained dog. I got my gun on me. Well, every time we go outside and we walk around, you know why? Because I wanted to build wealth. And I knew that if I go buy this home in this particular neighborhood, right, that is an gentrified area that I can immediately, if I sell this in within a year, 2 years, that's gonna be money. I kept that townhome for 9 months, made over $100,000 when I sold it. What am I saying? What sacrifices are you willing to make to change your financial situation? If you're making $100,000 in your family and you're still struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, it's not because of the system. It's not solely because life hit you. I guarantee you, if I look at your budget, I could find some places in there that you would hate to say no, because some of y'all make your wants your needs. When really, no. You don't need it. You've just gotten so accustomed to having this thing to where you want it. And you wonder why you're living where you're living. And you wonder why you don't have $1,000 in your savings account. And you're wondering why you don't have this certain kind of thing. It's because it's not because of everyone else. It's you. Couples, time for y'all to sit down, look at yourself in the mirror and say, babe, what do we need to take off of our budget to where we can get to where we want to go? Bottom line. And let me be honest with you, it's going to suck. It's going to piss you off to where you can't go on that trip. It's going to suck that you may have to tell your kids you can't do that particular program. I got a family member, and this mother is you know, she can't do the things that she want to do, and she's living, you know, and she's struggling because one of her kids wants to do a particular activity, and that particular activity costs a whole lot of money, and I'm like, yo, listen, the best thing you can do for your kids is tell them no. Because if you are at a place where you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're having to borrow money and max out credit cards just so that your kid can be happy, but then you're stressed, then when they graduate and go off to college, now you're stressed, you're paying back bills, they're in college and they are living good and you're trying to catch up on life. And then you never catch up because you're so far into debt, you're not making the money, you don't have a savings account, you're not investing into your future, you don't have a 401k, you don't have anything planned for your future. Now when you turn 60, now you need your kids' help. Huh? The last thing you want to do is be 60 years old and now you are a burden to your kids. What are you going to say? Well, I took care of you. It's time for you to take care of me? No, that is the dumbest thing a parent can say. It was your responsibility to take care of your child, but it was also your responsibility to take care of yourself first. How do you take care of someone else if you don't have the foundation to take care of yourself? Parents get upset when I say that. Why is that the flight attendant says, hey, before you put the mask onto your kids, put a mask onto yourself? Because what good is it for them to be alive and you're dead? If you slip yours on first and immediately get on to them, that's a better situation. Take care of yourself. Breathe. Get a savings account. I know Comments is going to be upset with me today. That's all right, Michelle. Michelle, she'll comment back with y'all. Y'all going to be upset. But I get upset when I read that stat. 100,000 people making over 100,000, 125,000, millionaires don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. I get it, life happens. How long is life gonna happen? If you've been living like that for a year, 2 years, something wrong. Something wrong.